All right, so we're gonna talk about cost and revenue function. Okay, we're talking about like investing. Okay, so with that being said, revenue means the money collected when someone sells a good or service. It's like the amount that they're getting from it. Revenue is the product of price and quantity. All right, here's a formula you need. So price times quantity equals revenue. Like, and that makes sense. Like you sell something, you sell 20 items, however much you charge times your 20 items, that's your revenue, right? Nothing crazy. Okay, so Joyce sells 21 custom pet paintings for $75 each. I'll pay $75 for a pet painting, whatever. All right, what is her revenue? So what's price times how many items? So quantity. So 21 times 75. What does that give me? 15. All right, 1,575. The revenue of 1,575. Where's my ping pong ball? All right. Streamflix sells movies online and is deciding how much to charge customers to download a new movie. Based on the data from previous sales, the company predicts that if they charge X dollars for each download, then the number of downloads in thousands is Q of X equals 18 minus X. So this is where it starts getting algebra-y. Okay. So what does Q of X mean? Total what? Quantity. So Q of X is going to be the quantity. What does quantity mean?
How many?
Number, how many? As a function of the price. So when we say Q of X, we're saying quantity of the price. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, you gotta be able to interpret. There's a lot of reading. Welcome to word problems. Yeah. Like I said, how well did you do in algebra? No, I won't know. Actually, I've already seen most of y'all's grades. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Complete the table, show the predicted number of downloads at each listed price, then find the revenue of each price. The first row has been completed for you. So we've got price is $3. We got 15 items. So 3 times 15 is 45. Okay. How do we figure out the next one? Okay, so looking at this equation right here, okay, we're going to find the quantity by taking 18 minus the price, which is 5. So that would give me 13. And then 5 times 13 is 65. Okay, can you fill in the rest of the table? Leave the bottom one alone. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. I don't even like the world we live in at this point. All right. So you fill in all that stuff. Okay, so I need to, this is the important part. Ready? Okay, so the way we found quantity is we did 18 minus X, right? That's how we did it. Now to find revenue, we took X and multiplied it times 18 minus X. If I see it? If I see it? Yes. Cool. Okay, so what happened to the number of movies downloaded as the price increased? As the price increased, so as we went down this way, what happened to the quantity? It decreased. We're going to write the word decrease. Why?
Because as it gets more expensive,
People don't want to buy it when it's more expensive. Right? Like Netflix is like almost like $100 at this point.
That's crazy.
I mean, actually, it's like 27. Oh,
I see.
I think there's like 2 people that pay for Netflix at this point. You might be one of them. Plot twist, we're all actually using Charles' Netflix.
No.
Yes. Okay, fewer people want to buy trash, to buy expensive downloads. Look at that awful handwriting. Who let me do this? Okay, what is the revenue function? So R of X equals, here's the crazy part. Remember when we did the whole like X times 18 minus X? You distribute this guy. This is going to give me 18X minus X squared. Remember, X times X equals X squared, not 2X, like your ninth grade self probably thought.
What?
All my ninth graders last year were like, X times X is 2X. I was like, no, failure.
Yeah.
X times X is X squared. Okay, good talk. What does R of X mean? Revenue, good guess. As a function of what? What's the X mean? Price. X is price. R is revenue. Q is quantity. Good. It's not a trick question. Just got to read. Okay. All right. Graph the revenue function on Desmos. Yay, Desmos. All right. I'll do it for you. I'm about to make a name for myself. 18. All right, look at my lovely graph. Look at my lovely graph. Boom. What type of function do we have? Quadratic. Because the x squared, yes? He was going to say something crazy. We know. It is quadratic. Okay. What is the domain?
Number.
Ah, boo. No. Can you have half a movie or half a download? Not really. No. So it's all real numbers, but look at this graph really quick. Do you see how it goes from here to here? 0 to. Can you have negative revenue?
No.
No, because otherwise you're bad business, right? So our domain is going to be from 0 to 18. Okay, so come back in here. We're going to write 0 to 18. Okay, what this is saying is that X lies between these two numbers. Charles was talking about, could you use the brackets instead? Yeah, you could. So you could say from here to there. Same. Yep. Okay, what are zeros? Tell me what that is. X-intercept. Boom. X-intercept. He was about to give me a whole thing. All right, what are the zeros? So where does it cross the x-axis? 0 and 18. Beautiful. What do the zeros tell us in this situation? No. So at price 0 and 18, there is no revenue. So if we charge $0 for a download, we don't make any money. Right? That's not good. That's bad business.
The buyers. Oh, I was going to say. Is it really body that's worth $0? Or is it stupid?
You need to go home.
I can go home.
No, I didn't say you could. All right. On the next one, what is a vertex? What's a vertex?
No.
Highest or lowest point. So it's a max or a min, right? Okay, so our vertex, if we look back at our graph, that's this guy. So 9,81. 9,81. What does a vertex tell us?
They gave the most amount of money.
Maximum revenue. Maximum revenue. And the maximum revenue happened at $9. Okay. Max revenue at $9 a price. Okay. All right, when you're done, flip the page. You too, baby. Okay. How do you say that first word? Economics? Economic.
Economists.
Depends on if you're from the north or the south. Anyways, people who deal with the economy are interested in factors that can affect the demand. So quantity equals demand function. Predict what would happen to the price that gives the maximum revenue if the demand function shifted. Q of x equals 20 minus x. Okay, so what is it saying? Read it again, because like half of you were not paying attention. Respectfully.
I have no idea what this question is asking.
All right, so the quantity function shifted to 20 minus x instead of 18 minus x. Yes? So it shifted to the right. Which means that customers are going to be willing to pay more. Add more variables to our lovely mix. A linear cost function, E of Q, is a mathematical representation of the expenses incurred by a company or individual where the expenses increase linearly with the amount of output. Formula for a linear cost function can be represented as that. So what does the C represent? The cost. What does A represent? What does that mean? Say fixed costs.
So cost is
Okay.
cost is the same, doesn't change.
Okay, so like, you know how like if I produce something on Etsy, it's gonna cost me some money to like make the item, right? So like the fixed cost is like, this is how much I have to sell it for. Cannot go below. Yeah. Okay. B is the variable cost per unit, and then Q is the level of output. Gucci? Okay. So fixed costs is the costs that do not vary with the output. So examples of this are going to be like rent, utilities. Okay. I can't spell utilities today. What was it?
I'm sorry.
Utilities. What is it? Okay, first of all, Dookie pointer router, and then salaried labor. Put up my CT scan on the board. You ain't gonna feel so laughy laugh right now. No. What was bullying? Okay, back to it. Variable costs, costs that depend on the output. So this is going to be like raw materials, hourly labor, and then shipping. Okay, this is all talking about like business, right? This is like your online businesses, your in-person businesses, like your restaurants and all that jazz. Okay. Gucci. Because I always used to complain whenever I worked for like a restaurant. I was like, why don't I get paid more? And it's because they have to make a profit. They've got to have, they have like fixed costs that impact everything. Go on. Okay. Streamflix has a fixed expense of $10,000. What? I feel stupid. $10,000. There you go. Per month, and incurs variable expenses. I did not write this. Of $5 per movie downloaded. Remember, the money is in thousands of dollars. Oh, okay. Find C of Q and C of X. So use Q of X equals 18 minus X. So C of Q. So we're trying to find the cost of the quantity. So here's your fixed expense, right? That $10. So that's your A. Your B is what? So B is the variable cost. How much is it per movie downloaded? Okay. And then we've got to figure out how much the Q is, right?
Is it 10,000?
It's in thousands. Okay, C of Q is going to be the total cost of the function of quantity. Notice how this word and this word are the two variables that we used. Okay, now C of X is going to be your fixed plus 5 times, what was our formula for the quantity on the last page? 18 minus X, right? And this is the total cost as a function of price. You are going to have to be able to write functions based off of the scenario. I just work here. Don't be mad at me. I didn't do this. Like I said, how good were you in algebra? Okay. You did, but it's just a little smaller. Oh, you did. Okay, so find the total cost of 4,000 downloaded movies. So we're going to use Q is 4. We're going to plug him into this equation. Yeah. So we're going to do 10 plus 5 times 4. And you already told me it's 30. And this is in thousands. Can you do the next one? Duh. So we're using the cost formula, right? Because it's asking for total cost. So we're using this guy. So we're going to say 10 plus 5 times 18 minus 6. 18 minus 6 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 plus 10 is 70.
Right. What is it called?
Excuse me? Bro,
Yeah.
why are you like this?
Not too.
No, not chilling. Chill. No. It should be 70. Why does it say 80 on the answer key? It's wrong. Wrong. If a business has a fixed cost or startup expense, it will have a loss if it doesn't sell. Okay, so there's a lot of businesses that go under within the first like 90 days of being open because they didn't do their math right. The point at which the revenue is equal to the cost is called the break-even point. Okay, so that means that they don't have any profit, but they don't also have any more expenses. They've broken even. Okay, plot both R of X and C of X on Desmos. At what prices will Steamflix break even? Okay, so go ahead and grab your laptop. Go ahead and open Desmos.
Sure.
And you're going to plot R of X and C of X. Now remember, R of X is on the previous page. Yes? And then C of X is on the current page. Plot those and tell me where they cross over so that you break even. Take a moment, you're graphing. Got that? Oh, it's 5. Got it? So I graph R of X and C of X. Do you see where I'm getting those things from? Please make sure that you understand where that's coming from. Okay, don't type C of X equals blah, blah, blah. Just do like the function, okay? Now, where do they cross over? Here and here. What are our X values at those two spots? So 5.82 and 17.1, we're gonna round this 8. So those are your two answers on the next one. That's where they're gonna break even. So how many movies would be downloaded at this price? How many movies would be downloaded at this price? How do you figure that one out?
You take other values on all of that. Add the two Y numbers together. Chocolate.
So if I wanted to find out Q, which equation am I going to use for Q?
Well, what's one plus? If you wanted to find Q, is another C.
Okay, so if you had C of Q, what would you do? How would you find it? Would you plug in for Q in the C of Q formula? Yep. What? Say again? Yes. Okay, so on your notes, right here. So where they broke even, they're going to break even at 5.82, 5.82, and 17.18. The next question says, how many movies would be downloaded at this price? The formula for Q? What's the formula for Q?
10 plus 5.
So you're telling me that C of Q is equal to 10 plus 5Q. Is that what you're telling me? But you're solving for Q. So what do you do?
Put the 5 or the 17 into COQ, then minus the 10, then divide by 5.
So he's saying take 17.8 equals 10 plus 5Q. Okay, subtract. Oh my God, you know what you were doing.
No, I know.
17.18 minus 10. And then we're going to divide it by. No. That's not right either.
I think.
So then how would you do that?
Can we get
Okay, let me tell you what the answer is and then see if you can work it backwards. So Q is going to be 17.9 thousand and 14.1 thousand. Okay, so where did that come from? Look at your formulas.
Did you add it one time and it's successful another time?
What?
Like, say,
Oh, found it.
Where'd you find it?
It's the 18x minus x squared.
that's
That's almost.
Look for the one that says 8Q of X equals.
18 minus X.
Okay, so the question becomes, how many movies would be downloaded at this price? Take 18 and subtract. That's not even the numbers that are coming on here. Yeah, I didn't get that either. She put this wrong. This is wrong. Don't worry about this one. We'll come back to that one because this answer is wrong.
Wrong.
We'll come back to that one because you should have used Q of X, but that's still going to get you something super tiny. Don't worry about that one. Close the page. All right, here's some practice. Whoop, whoop. Yay. Hardest part is actually writing these suckers out. Okay, so go ahead and take a couple minutes. Let's do about 15 minutes. Do 1 and 2. Make sure you graph them, write the equation, all that jazz. Okay, cool? Yes?
Wow.
Yes. Ready? Go. Loser. Oh. So, Chuck. Nobody's named Chuck anymore. Started a small business manufacturing a microwavable to-go cup called Cup of Chuck's Coffee, which contains Tennessee spring water and ground coffee beans in a sealed cup. That's disgusting. Each cup costs the company $1 to manufacture. The fixed costs for this product line are $1,500. Chuck has determined the demand function to be Q equals 8,500 minus 1,000x, where x is the price of each cup. I feel like y'all all just like blanked out when I read that. So we're going to write an equation for the revenue. Remind me what revenue is. Okay, what's the formula? Quantity. So what's our formula for quantity? Okay, so, all right, so what is our price? X times our quantity, which is 8,500 minus 1,000 X. That's 100. Yes. Yes. Right. Graph R of X on Desmos. Which price will generate the maximum revenue? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Desmos. We're going to type it in. X times 8,500 minus 1,000 X. Boom. And we're going to zoom out. Oh, this graph is what janky.
Yeah.
That sucks. This is a terrible number. Okay, it's like in here somewhere. Fighting for my life on here. Nah.
I remember this one. If you zoom in where your mouse is,
No.
like,
No.
okay.
No. No. Okay. So, how much, what price will generate the maximum revenue? $4.25. So what price of the cup? $4.25. Write it down. $4.25. The second one, broski. $4.25. Okay. For what prices will Chuck have zero revenue? So where will it cross the x-axis?
A lot more sense than you.
What keeps me in a job, Charles?
Why? How come I don't do?
So the things that I say to you, I say to myself as I'm doing this stuff. Like,
why? How come I don't get taking the test or like doing the practice? And like, I mean, if you say like, okay, this is how we do it, I'm like, oh no, like, that's not fair. Learning is hard. That's not. It's not fair. Let's learn.
Practice. It's the repetition of math. That's really how you can get good at math. All right. So here's your x-intercepts that we're gonna give us the revenue of $0. So that would be 0 and 8.5. What? No, they're separate things. All right, now we're going to write an equation for the cost as a function of quantity. So when we're looking at this, we're going to look back at the formula for this guy, and we're looking for C of Q. That's on the previous page. Remember, C of Q is A plus B times Q, right? So what is our fixed cost? What is our fixed cost on this one? Fixed cost is 1,500 plus what is B? B is our variable cost per unit. So how much does it cost per $1? Okay. And then we don't know quantity, so we're just going to put Q. Okay. Everybody got it? For C of X, we're going to look at the formula for that one. Okay, C of X. So that's going to be, what is our fixed cost? 1,500 plus how much is our price per unit? 1. And then our quantity formula. So 8,500 minus 1,000 X.
Whoa.
Okay, I see a lot of people writing, which makes me worry that you didn't understand it. Okay, so did we get D? Okay, so D came from, look at your packet, the C of Q, that formula. Yes, I will give you this though. Okay, so don't freak out. But you got to know fixed plus your variable costs times Q. So C of X is the exact same formula, except now instead of writing Q, we're going to plug in what the formula is for Q.
So we can't find C of X stuff.
Yep. Now, look at what's on the inside of these parentheses. Do you notice how that's the variable in the formula? Okay. Yes. Does that help a little bit? Okay. All right. So on F, you're going to graph both R of X and C of X. And where are their break-even points? So you're going to graph both of them and see where they cross. Okay. So we're going to go in here. And we're going to get up. R of X is X times 8,500 minus 2,000 X. And then 1,500 plus. Okay, and then you're going to look at where they cross over. So when we scroll out, huh? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, really bad example. They do though. So the way I would do this, you can. Somebody get their friend. Okay, so where do they kind of cross over? It's kind of harder to see on the table if you don't know what you're looking at. What?
And she's like,
Okay, so this one's a little bit harder to find. You can actually set both of these equations equal to each other and then solve. I'm going to go ahead and give you this one because like you could sit there and like play around with it. But this one's going to be 1.21 and 8.29. You would have to zoom out, scroll around. This one's a little trickier to see. So what does this actually mean? This means that the prices for revenue equals the cost. Okay, did you get the second question? Have you started on number 2? Okay, so go ahead and try number 2 now that we've done number 1 really quick. So the equation for revenue is X times 2,400 minus 160X. What price will generate the maximum revenue? That's 750. Write an equation for the cost of a function of quantity. That's 3,500 plus 0.75 Q. Very good. Then write an equation for C of X. So that's 3,500 plus 0.75 times 2,400 minus 160X. You're going to graph both the R of X and C of X. And where they break even is where they cross those two graphs. Okay, and you might have to like manipulate it a little bit. Okay, and that's going to be 2.5 and 13.25. Now on the graph, you're going to see the parabola, right? And in between 2.5 to 13.25, that's where you have the maximum amounts, right? So your revenue is greater than the cost. Cost is the straight line. Revenue is the parabola. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, cool. Questions? Okay. Hopefully that wasn't so terrible.